Thank you for joining us. Marcia Current is with us today. She's the executive director of the Susan B. Anthony Recovery Center. Ellen Bethel is here, and Casey Maroney is here from the Women's Business Mastermind Group, West Broward chapter. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Nice to see you. Marcia's been here before, a couple of years ago, telling us about the Susan B. Anthony Recovery Center in Fort Lauderdale. Let's start with that. What is it, first of all?
The Susan B. Anthony Recovery Center was actually started in 1995 as a project of the Junior League, and they wanted to do something for women in recovery. And the major reason women did not go into treatment was because they had kids.
Mm-hmm.
And this center, the Susan B. Anthony Center, which they raised the first $80,000 for, was actually a place where women could go into treatment, live in a facility where they can have their children. So it removed that whole barrier of not having a place for them to go into treatment.
Are you talking about treatment for and recovery for?
Substance addiction.
Substance addiction.
It could be from alcohol or any substances.
Now, it started in 95, and of course you said it was the what group started?
The Junior
The
League.
Junior League.
Greater Fort Lauderdale. And actually, they named it after their founder, who was Susan B. Anthony's great niece, and also named Susan B. Anthony.
Okay.
So in 1937, our Susan B. founded the Junior League of Greater Fort Lauderdale and started a small project for the a small childcare center, and that was their first project. And they started to do projects for women and children for a long time.
Now, this started as a small project, didn't it? But
Yes,
you've
it did.
got quite a large facility now.
Yes, we do.
How many women and kids?
We right now have 55 families.
55 families.
Yeah, so it's huge. We have an apartment complex that has 40 apartments. We have a childcare center right on our site that holds 125 kids. And we also have a treatment building, which is our administrative building where we do all of the treatment and education and vocational services.
Now, this is all on one facility. Where is it?
It's in Pembroke Pines, located on the Howard Foreman Health Campus.
I know where that is.
Yes.
I drive by it every day. I didn't even know you were there.
Well, you should come by and visit us.
Well, certainly. And you've got 65 different families, so you not only house, how many?
55.
55. You not only house them and feed them, but provide treatments for the women?
Yes, they have a full day of treatment services. So they usually start out the morning doing a series of substance abuse classes that teach them about the brain on substances and how to prevent or the tools that they need to prevent using again.
Yeah.
So they go through a whole different series, also talking about self-esteem and their issues that led them to it are usually addressed in individual. So they may have an individual session sometime in the morning.
How do they end up there? How do they come to you?
Oh my goodness. We get from homeless shelters, from the jail, from ChildNet, which is the foster care system.
Right.
We get them from different people hearing about us in the 12-step rooms. That's NA and AA, different meetings. We can hear from us from the hospitals, lots of different sources.
Would all of these women be women, of course, who have alcohol and substance abuse problems? Would they be single moms with these kids, all of them?
Some are single.
Some.
The majority, I would say, are single moms.
Yeah.
Some have the father that's involved, but maybe the dad's in treatment somewhere else. They really need to address their issues in order to be healthy in any relationship.
Yeah.
And so what we usually do is say, when you first come in, you really need to concentrate on your own recovery, your own healing, before you can be anybody's partner in any relationship. So
who evaluates them when they come in, and what kind of evaluation is done? And you probably have to do it for the children too, right?
Yes, actually we do. We have a master's level social worker who does the evaluation when they first come in. They're individual therapists, which we have PhD level and master's level. Also do in-depth assessments even after they come in, looking at the mental health, their parenting, every aspect of that woman, looking at their strengths and all those strengths that they have in their recovery, but also the things that they need to work on. For the children, we do a developmental assessment, looking at their developmental levels, because a lot of our kids come in, they're newborn babies. We take newborns up to the age of 9, and we have to look at their developmental levels, because we have a whole developmental intervention program that we do with the moms and the kids. And so any deficits that we see that the kids have, we then design a specific program for that child, but we don't have staff do it. We teach the mom how to do it.
In general, are these kids behind in their learning skills just because of the difficulties that their mother has been in?
We find that the kids are somewhat behind, but once they start to look at treatment and the mom's really being involved in it, and the children, if they need, they do have their own therapist if they need it as well. We do play therapy with the kids. If they do need any kind of intervention, we make sure they get it, and by the time they leave, they are caught up.
Would you involve other family members, in other words, to let them know that these women are in treatment and they are making progress? I mean, not necessarily husbands or boyfriends, but, parents or aunts and uncles who might, be concerned as to where they are and what kind of situation they're in?
The first thing we have to do is to see who the woman wants to involve in her own treatment, because we can't tell anybody anything about
confidential.
That's right. It's all confidential information. But if the woman wants to involve a significant other, a husband, mom, uncle, aunt, anybody that's important in their life, we will, after they have a certain amount of treatment on their own, we will do couples therapy, family therapy, to really help the family bond together, because after all, that's where the woman is going to return to. Either that's in a relationship or with a family. So we want that to be as healthy as it can possibly be, so she has more success. More chance of success. Yeah,
you're talking, when we started, it was a small project. Now there's 55 families. That's an awful lot of people. Where does the funding come from now? Not just the Junior League.
In 1995, when I was first hired by the Junior League, I opened our first house with 5 women and 6 kids in October of 1995.
Wow.
And we get a lot of our funding from the state. We have 2 sources in the state, and we get it from the county, United Way, Broward Community Foundation, lots of private foundations, and then we have individuals and some groups like the Mastermind that helps us get our funding. So we're, no nonprofit is an island. We need the help of everybody in the community, because it really does take a whole village to raise these kids that we're trying to stop the cycle of the substance addiction and the family dysfunction with this generation.
Yeah, and these days, that money is getting harder to come by from everyone, isn't it?
Yes, and I think with this coming budget cycle that we're going to hit in the state legislature, because the income was a little lower than they projected, I think nonprofits like ourselves are going to be hit even harder this year. Yeah.
One of the things you do try to teach women is self-esteem, and that's probably where these ladies come in. Ellen Bethel and Casey Maroney with the Women's Business Mastermind Group. What is that, first of all? Who's up? Go ahead.
Casey, go ahead. The Women's Business Mastermind Group started as an organization to help develop women. The concept was women helping women, and there's only one business category for each chapter. We're in the West Broward chapter, and so each chapter has one
woman per profession.
Right, exactly. And actually, Ellen was the one that introduced Susan B. Anthony to our chapter, so that the women could get more involved in it. And we like to, other than networking, we like to go out into the community as well and help as much as we
Now,
can.
you're in West Broward in the area of the Susan B. Anthony Center anyway, right?
Yes.
Now, you said there's only one woman from each type of profession in this group. Now, how do you get involved with the center? I mean, what are you doing? I understand you're mentoring, but in what way?
That's a great question. The Women's Business Mastermind Group wanted to put together an open house to raise awareness for the Women's Business Mastermind Group. And I had raised the idea of attaching something to help in the community as well. Mm-hmm. And a friend of mine had taken a position recently at Susan B. Anthony, and I had been doing some volunteer work there. I was very, very impressed with it and raised the idea to the group, and the group just embraced the idea. Everyone thought it was wonderful. No one had heard of it, and I hadn't heard of the Susan B. Anthony Center before my friend started working there. So several of the women went out, took a tour, and they fell in love with it, just as I did. And we decided to actually hold our open house at the facility to raise awareness for the Susan B. Anthony Center. Mm-hmm. And we've been going out on Thursdays. We had one woman go out, Patty Conrad with Mary Kay. She taught the women about professional makeup application. Casey Maroney, who's here with us today, her business is restyling, redesigning, and I guess Casey can talk about what she's done at the Susan B. Anthony Center.
Sure. My business partner, Natasha, and I, we have a business called Style and Interiors. So the way that we wanted to give back to the Susan B. Anthony Center is to go out and just give a nice little facelift to the reception area of the building. Mm-hmm. And so we are going in this coming week. We will go in, of course, when the babies and the moms are out, so that nobody
sees
kills
what's going
themselves
on
with the fumes. No, but so that the paint doesn't. But we're gonna just make it a little bit more warm and inviting to the families of the women that live there.
Do each of you mentor someone there?
There's a woman there that I've kind of taken under my wing that I've gone out and done things with separate from the Women's Business Mastermind Group. So we each have the opportunity to mentor, but it's on an individual basis, not as a group basis.
Now, would they mentor, or you mentor someone in your type of business, or just in work in general?
No, I wouldn't even say in work in general. I would say in life in general. Oh, okay. Just introducing them to the things that are out in our community. They may not be aware of the parks, the things to do with their children, the different things that are available to them out there, because they've been living in a different culture for a long time. Yeah. So just getting them out into the mainstream and exposing them to mainstream things, inviting them out to different events that are held in the community. And so that is how I've been able to work with.
When you meet the women, are you surprised at how unaware they are of really what's going on in the community and the opportunities for them?
Yes. There's so much available to them and so many people that want to be of service, but they just don't know how to help. And that's one of the reasons that I fell in love with Susan B. Anthony. I thought it was one of the best kept secrets in Broward County, and we don't want it to be a secret. So there are a lot of things available in the community to the women that the women are unaware of, and there are a lot of people in the community that would like to be of service but may not know how to help. And so we're trying to bridge that gap.
Yeah, Casey was ready to jump in.
Well, I just know for myself that going to Susan B. Anthony, it humbles me, because the women that come up, they're so grateful that we are there and just doing the little things that we think are little and they think are extraordinary. Yeah. And we have other women in our group that will be holding, because you asked about mentoring, and I foresee that being an ongoing thing, but there are other women in our group that are going out to explain to them how to not fall into bankruptcy, or how to, manage their money. There's a financial advisor going out. So there is mentoring going on between now and the 16th. And then that way some of the women will already know our faces and have seen us around, so we won't be complete strangers at the night of the open house.
No, the open house you're talking about is going to be when?
On October 16th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at Susan B. Anthony.
Okay.
And it's a wonderful event that we're inviting the community to raise awareness for Susan B. Anthony, and also to raise awareness for the Women's Business Mastermind Group. And we're asking, there's no price for admission, but we're asking people to bring a donation to the children of Susan B. Anthony, either diapers or new clothing, children's book, a gift card, and of course cash donations to Susan B. Anthony are always welcome. But we're trying to help to raise funds and raise the things that the women at Susan B. Anthony need.
Now, you're trying to make everybody aware of the Susan B. Anthony organization. Besides the mentoring, and you said you were redecorating the reception area.
Right.
What else would your group, this Women's Mastermind Group, do with the center?
Well, for instance, I'm in real estate, and I went out with a mortgage broker, and we talked about the importance of credit. A lot of the women are suffering from low credit scores, and letting them know what they need to do to clean their credit up, how to rent an apartment, because ultimately the goal is to put them back into the community. And so we want to help them. We don't want them to get to the point that they're moving out the door and they don't know what to do. We're trying to help and educate them between now and that time to make it a smooth transition.
Yeah.
So they have all my contact numbers. They can continue to follow up with me, and I'll continue to guide and counsel them on their credit scores, on how to rent an apartment, how to buy a first place, how to save for a down payment. Someone's there today teaching about protecting their legal rights. Another woman from our group, Dr. Jen, is there teaching about health and wellness. So we're really trying to hit all areas of their life, from the financial to Casey with the making their surroundings more beautiful, Ala Rios with protecting their legal rights, and to touch on many areas of their life, not just one.
Yeah. Marcia, they kind of come into the category of helping build self-esteem, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. The important message that this group and anybody that comes in to help us gives to these women is they're not alone. That they're part of a community. And one of the things that research clearly shows is if folks feel that they are part of a community, that they're welcome, that they're involved in the community, that they are more likely to stay clean.
Yeah.
So that's the strong message that these folks give them, that they are worth, the time and effort that the mastermind group puts in, because they're all busy women.
Yeah.
They have families of their own and careers of their own, and yet they're taking the time to come in and to talk to our women and spend time with them directly. So I think it gives a real strong message, and it helps with self-esteem, because they say, well, I am worth something.
Yeah. We're talking with Marcia Current, who's Executive Director of the Susan B. Anthony Recovery Center in Pembroke Pines, and Ellen Bithell and Casey Maroney with the Women's Business Mastermind Group, who do some very nice work there. On the website for the Susan B. Anthony Center, you talk about addiction to drugs and alcohol as a disease. What do you do to stop the cycle?
Really, there's so much, again, with research that shows that the addiction is a family disease, and that if you don't stop it with the women, that the children that we serve are much, much more likely to also have a substance addiction problem of their own. And so what we talk about is stopping that cycle, because by treating the mom, not only are we, changing the life of that mother, but any children that she has also have a much better start in life.
Yeah.
Because we teach the moms how to teach their kids to say no, and what the strong message is.
Now, you have moms and kids there. How long can they stay?
It depends on their source of funding, anywhere from 6 months to 18 months.
Now, you say their source of funding.
Yeah, because the women are all there on different sources of funding, depending
on how they came to you.
How they came to us.
Okay.
Like, for example, the homeless families come to us through the county pays for some homeless beds. So those fund it. And so it depends on how long they give us a voucher for that particular woman.
Okay, all right. Now, are some of the women holding jobs at the time?
Oh, absolutely. That's
they
the
are.
goal. What we do is in the early part of the time that they're there, we ask that they be in treatment all day. So that they're from 9 o'clock in the morning until 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They're going to classes. They're going to vocational classes. They're going to meeting with their parenting instructor. They're doing all those different things. And then later on, they're working individually with a vocational person who then teaches them all the ways that what their options are, whether they want to go to school, go to training, do they want to go right to work, can they get their license back that they may have lost while they were in their addiction. So they look at every single option.
Driver's license you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about nursing license, different kinds of licenses they might have had, and if it's possible to get them back so that they can go back to the career that they actually worked to get to.
This is a real tangled web for somebody.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
There's a lot of as you're talking about that, I'm thinking, boy, there's a lot of things involved when a woman who has children ends up in a center like that. By the time they get there, things are really a mess, aren't they?
What we really tell people who don't know a lot about what we do is that we usually get the women walking in with a pair of shorts, a t-shirt, and their flip-flops.
Wow.
And, maybe a diaper and some formula for their child, and that's about it. So they've lost almost everything due to their addiction. And, the economy is rough right now, and jobs are hard to come by.
Yeah.
So we're seeing loads of different socioeconomic folks that came from lots of different backgrounds, lots of different careers. It impacts everybody. It doesn't matter what level of income you come from.
Yeah.
You can be impacted by addiction. And that's what we really try to do. We stop that whole cycle with the mom and the children, and we treat that entire family.
Now, the kids are going to school.
They either go to Childcare Center that's right there on site. We have a beautiful Childcare Center that has wonderful teachers and gives them that exposure and a whole day to actually experience lots of different learning activities from the age of 6 weeks all the way up to 4. And then they go to regular public school. So we have a bus stop not far from the center, and the kids hop on the bus just like anybody else.
How many people are working at the center? How many people do you have?
Right now, we probably have about 10 women that are either in school or working. Because, we try to encourage women to go back to either vocational school. We have somebody now that's working on getting their not degree, but their vocational studies for nails and for hair, because that's a shorter one to do. We have a few that are in BCC, our community college. And so, it ranges. And then we have lots of women who are also working, too.
And you have a lot of people working for you there at the center. It sounds like you got people taking care of kids. You got people teaching programs. People doing evaluations. How many employees do you have?
We have 30 employees, but we don't run the Childcare Center.
Oh, okay.
The Childcare Center, because we are not experts, or I'm personally not an expert in childcare centers, I felt it was better to rent out the center to somebody who was. So we have Dr. Wendy Siegel, who has her PhD in early education and runs another center somewhere else, who's an expert. He has a Gold Seal Center. And
well, that certainly sounds like somebody who knows what they're doing if they have a PhD.
And that's what we wanted. That's what we wanted. So she runs it, and, the ladies just love the center.
Yeah.
It's really one of the best child care centers in the whole county, I think.
Talk a little bit about the family bonding activities, how you get, and I'm sure there are a lot of difficulties the women are having with the children just because of things that have been building up over the years, or a year when it comes to a little one.
Absolutely. Well, we do a couple of different things. First of all, we have a developmental intervention specialist that she works with the parents one-on-one and with the children. So they work together as a family unit. And she teaches the moms all the things that they need to know about the developmental levels, what kinds of, what do you need to read to them, what's appropriate play, all those kinds of things. And what's normal, because a lot of abuse happens around people not understanding what a child should be able to do. You know, like when is it appropriate to potty train and all those kinds of things. So that I have one-on-one. We also partner with some people out in the community where we have groups and parenting. And then we have bonding activities that the women really get together and decide what kinds of bonding activities they want to do. And some are at the facility, and some are, you know, going out into the community.
Yeah.
So we do things on the weekend where they actually concentrate on doing some fun things with their kids.
How important is it just to teach self-esteem to somebody who ends up at the Susan B. Anthony Center?
Well, I think that when you look at self-esteem, you really look at all the aspects of the women. So what I mean by that is, you know, they're working individually with a very highly trained therapist to talk about the issues that led them there. Many of the women that are at Susan B. are there because they were sexually abused, physically abused, came from families where there was domestic violence. So there's a lot of issues that they heard when they were kids that they couldn't do, that they were stupid, that they, you know, never would amount to anything. And so the therapist starts to work on that on a one-to-one basis to try to unravel that, to try to challenge those messages that they heard for so many years in their life. And that's the first step. And then they go to women's groups where they learn and they hear other women and the experiences that these other women had. And they start to see that they're not that different, that there were other people that experienced some of the same horrific start that they had also had. And then they start to be able to be successful at things. When you start to see that you can do something well, it starts to one little day at a time build on that self-esteem. So, you know, a self-esteem group, yes, but there's all kinds of things that go into helping build that woman up. And it's their daily success when they see that they're successful, one little thing at a time. I can really do this.
How long does it take before you see them become thankful for all the help that they are getting?
Well, gratitude is part of recovery.
Yes.
And, you know, that's the funny thing, because I always tell the women, I can always tell when they're getting healthier when they start to get gratitude.
Yeah.
Because that's really, to me, the first signal that, you know, they're really on the road to recovery. Because in the beginning, a lot of times they're focusing on all the negative around them, you know, all the things that they don't like, and, you know, all the structure, I'm sure. They don't like the rules and all that kind of stuff. But I know that they're starting to get healthy when they start to know the reason why that structure is there. We have just a couple of minutes. I want to spend a minute about the upcoming event, and you want to thank one of your sponsors, by the way. But take just about 30 seconds and tell us about the success of the Susan B. Anthony Center. Well, I think I always say that the success is always measured by the women who finish our program. We have women now that are in the community, working, graduating from college. We've had 3 that just graduated this year with their bachelor's degree. All 3 are going on for their master's degree, and all in helping professions so that they can give back. So when you look at the success of Susan B., it really is about changing lives and being able to keep the children out of foster care and give them back a healthy mom. Okay. That's the basic thing. Okay, the event coming up is when?
It is October 16th on a Thursday evening from 6:30 to 8:30.
So as we record this program, it'll be coming up this Thursday.
This
coming Thursday. And it's at Susan B. Anthony Center. And tell everybody exactly where it is.
The Susan B. Anthony Center is located at 1633 Poinciana Drive in Pembroke Pines. And that is just west of University Drive off of Pembroke Road. Don't forget your sponsor.
Oh, yes. I would love to thank the Home Depot. George Keeney is the merchandising manager at the Home Depot in Sawgrass. In Sunrise, and he was able to help us out. And that's the one great thing, too, is that other than the Women's Business Mastermind Group, there are businesses out in the community that love to give back as well. And the Home Depot donated the paint that we need for us to reface.
Terrific. Website for the Susan B. Anthony Center.
www.susanbanthonycenter.org.
Okay, website for the Women's Mastermind Group. They're shaking their heads.
Women's Business Mastermind Group.com.
Okay, we'll send everybody to the websites. Marcia Current, Ellen Bethel, and Casey Maroney, thanks for joining us today.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much.
Thank you.